that it, I don't want to see anybody but Robert Englund be Freddy Krueger.
Honestly, that was the least of the movie's problems. My bigger issue was the plot. And that they tried to go with this half-assed Freddy might be innocent bullshit until they decided, nah, he's not. It's like, so you just wasted an hour of our time on that.
Well, it's funny because we, the audience, also know that Freddy's not innocent.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? If they actually went through with it, it actually would have been a unique twist on the whole character, right? Like if these kids lied on him and now he was killed because, of a lie. Now he gets to come back and kill the kids.
No, that actually is how you would do in the post Me Too era and everything like that. That actually is how you would do it. Just have him look completely different, like ditch the red and green stuff like that. Do a completely different take on it. That's how you do it. So that was botched completely. The Friday the 13th one, I'd have to rewatch. I don't remember any of the modern day BS there, but I thank you for the $50 super chat.
I would also point out, guys, that in the post Me Too era, Freddy is a white male. He's 100% guilty.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is if he's attracted to children, so that's okay for them. See, that's the thing.
Oh, right. Okay, he's a hero.
See, because if you remember,
he's a minor attracted person. That's now part of the larger LGBTQIAP plus community, right?
Yeah, because in the remake, that's what made no sense to me. Is I'm like, was this script originally supposed to be these innocent? Because he doesn't kill anybody. Like he's not a child murderer in the remake. He's just a molester. And I'm sitting here going, why the fuck does he have claws for then? Just to leave evidence? Because at this point, it makes absolutely no sense. He should have just been like a simple-minded janitor that worked at this school, and these kids lied on him, and that's where he gets the claws from. Is he's maybe had a rake or something like that. He just played in there like the fucking Willy thing in Simpsons. Who cares? At this point, that's what you do. Like if you're gonna twist it around like that, because otherwise, the original version still doesn't make all that much sense if you stop and think about it. It's just that Freddy got an extra, however many, years to kill because the devil said, "Oh, you didn't get, the proper, justice done to you, so now you get this extra thing." That's kind of weird. So I always thought that was a better twist, but no, in this case they fucked that up because they had to make it like the old movie. But yeah, I can see that one a little bit more of an argument for. Jason Webster says, wanted Alex Kurtzman for crimes against contemporary culture. If you see this man, do not approach. Do not give him a script and film deals. Don't even let him near television.
Mm-hmm. Shouldn't be allowed to watch TV anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Groundskeeper Willie is the definitive Freddy. He was a pretty good Freddy.
You know what? My favorite Groundskeeper Willie, though, in Treehouse of Horror was the one where he keeps dying in all of them. Don't worry, kids. I'm coming to rescue the lot of you. Oh, I'm glad of this.
Oh, that was
too bad the Simpsons aren't good anymore.
Yeah,
I actually got my hands on an HD version of the Michael Jackson episode not too long ago because you can't get that one anymore on streaming.
Really?
Yeah. My biggest problem with the Friday the 13th remake is that we didn't get 5 sequels to it, because I actually thought it was pretty decent. And it's insane that we are right now in the biggest gap in Friday the 13th franchise history. And there was no reason to it. You didn't have the perfect
thing coming out soon.
Yeah, that's in the process. Let's see what happens. I'm not too optimistic about that, to be honest. But they even have like the Kane Hodder, he wasn't the original Jason, but he's the perfect Jason. But the second best perfect Jason is Derek Mears, who played him in the remake. I mean, that guy didn't even need any makeup to be Jason. You just have him take off his mask, show his real face. It's the perfect face for Jason, even.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's been that long now. We're getting the Friday 13th universe and the Jason universe, and it's going to be 2 separate things. And the Peacock show, I have the original 2 scripts when it was speaking of Kurtzman, and because that is like the weirdest thing ever. It's almost like the universe hates, or not Kurtzman, Brian Fuller's script. It's almost like the universe hates Brian Fuller. The same shit has happened to him twice now, 3 times if you count Hannibal. Because basically what happened here was he was supposed to do this Peacock Paramount / whatever Friday the 13th show. He even had scripts written, built an entire camp, and what was it, A24, the company that was behind it, was like, where's the money? They're like, well, we spent it. Like, yeah, but where's the money? we thought there'd be money left over. It's like, no, we spent it. You gave us the money to make the show. This is the money we had for our budget. Well, they got pissed. They thought the show was going to be cheap. And it's like, well, the same thing happened to him to Star Trek, and Andre knows what I'm talking about. Because Les Moonves is like, why is this costing so much? It's just Star Trek. It's supposed to be cheap. He's like, well, you got to amortize it. He's like, what the fuck do you mean? He's like, well, you got to build all the ships. You got to make all the costumes. You got to do all this stuff. And then you get to use that over the next, 10 years of the show or 5 years of the show. And they're like, well, that's not what we wanted. We wanted a cheap show like Star Trek. It's like, how the fuck do you think they made Star Trek cheap? They amortized all the shit to begin with. All the movies were made from shit from the TNG shows. Like, it was all amortized. So yeah, but he did. He built a whole, and Script Doctor told me this part. They built a whole freaking setup in Canada that they're not using. They're not even using it.
Huh.
So they shit canned all of Fuller's stuff and they brought in these new guys and they're starting over. I have the 2 first scripts of Fuller's. It starts out pretty good. I'm like, we're not getting this show, but it would have been great. Because the first episode is Pamela Voorhees with the officers looking for Jason in the water. That's the first episode.
So when I was a kid, I went to this, we went camping at this campsite in New Jersey. And when I got there, I found out once we were there, it was the original Camp Crystal Lake. So as I'm a child, wow. I'm now terrified out of my mind because I'm in Camp Crystal Lake. So I'm just looking around.
Wasn't it like Camp Wabanowski? What is the hell's the name of it? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember the name of it. It was in Hope, New Jersey,
though. Yeah.
But yeah, didn't find out till I was there because my father had never seen the movie. So, he didn't know or care. But one of the other kids that was there at the campsite said it. And I was like, what?
Anyhow, so yeah. Let's move on there from that to our top story of the day, David Ellison and Paramount. Because there's a lot about this, and this kind of bounces off of the Star Trek thing we were just talking about. So Andre, get us into this. I think you wanted to go into some specifics here with the first 100 days of David Ellison's leadership of Paramount / Skydance. After the sale.
Yeah, this is a story that is in Variety. So Tom, feel free to bring it up on screen.
I already did.
So Variety did a feature. It came just right. It was just a little bit delayed there. Variety did a feature article on inside David Ellison's dramatic first 100 days at Paramount, quoting Tom Cruise blockbusters, forging ties with Trump, and daring anyone else to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. So basically, this whole article, it's a kind of a summary, and I think something of a welcome to the industry, because they now know that we're not going to be able to keep this guy out of it. I mean, the Ellisons, by way of Skydance, have been funding half of Hollywood for a very, very long time already. Now they own all of Paramount, and probably if they want to, they're going to get Warner as well. It's just a matter of Zaslav beating the right deal out of them, and then probably it's going to happen. I don't think there's any scenario where it doesn't happen. So I just hope that we get the scenario where Zaslav stays on in a really important position. But anyway, this whole article signals to me that the Hollywood establishment has given up. They know that they are screwed. They're dependent on outside investment. This is outside investment. And really, the rest of the article is basically just going through the numbers. I didn't really catch anything major explosive that we didn't already know. The explosive stuff is the stuff that we say that they don't. That basically, this is a guy that wants to be a mogul, and daddy getting money from Oracle is paying for it, because he's now one of the richest men in the world, at least officially. And now he's basically buying his way into Hollywood. If anything, I'm surprised it hasn't happened before, that you haven't had any rich oil sheikh kid or something like that wanted to be a head honcho. So now it's Ellison. So I was curious to move on to the panel. Like Marvin, you've followed this story. I haven't seen any write-up from you on it. I'm sure something will come in due course. But your thoughts on this? Why do you think we're getting this article? And what's your thoughts on the first 100 days at Paramount? If anything, I would have thought we would have seen more at this point. We still don't know the future of Star Trek. But what say you?
Yeah, I have this on my docket to write about today, but this is I agree with you. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I would have liked to have seen some major changes. I would have liked to have seen, for example, Kurtzman being shown the door. But the introduction of Barry Weiss, I think, is a game changer for CBS News. We're starting to see them kind of take out the trash with CBS News a bit more. We're getting rid of some of the more controversial personalities that they have over there. I think the biggest thing that happened during that first 100 days, though, and it's not a good thing, is losing Taylor Sheridan. Because according to reports, now it depends on which trade you read, because some of the trades will report that, Ellison didn't like Sheridan. He didn't like how much creative control Sheridan had and never even made him a counter offer. And then another one will tell you, Variety will tell you, that Ellison was completely blindsided by Taylor Sheridan leaving and thought he had like a very productive conversation with him. It's very, very
Sheridan said he never made him an offer. That was the problem. Here's the thing is, like, I want to believe that Ellison has the best intentions, but when you let your most conservative fucking creative go out the door like that in a very public way,
right,
that's not good. And the reason I heard that this happened, because I do have a source that's somewhat close to the Sheridan shit, even though we don't cover it much here. He left because his production partner basically got shit canned over at Paramount.
Right.
So I don't think he was going to stay anyway, unless they made him some offer that was amazing. And I heard he only had a 10-year plan with these shows anyway. So I think his window was closing at that point anyhow. Does that make sense?
Well, one other thing about Sheridan, though, is that they are keeping him on for the Call of Duty movie, apparently. Where
his contract goes through 29. See, that's the thing that most people aren't paying attention to, is that he has a first look. This is just a first look contract anyway. It doesn't mean that he can't go work anywhere else. It just means that after this point, after 2029, right now where he's at, I believe he has a first look deal with Paramount. So anything he does, Paramount gets the first dibs at. Now, once 2029 hits, that's when whatever he does after that, Universal will get first dibs on. And if they decide they don't want it, then it gets put into turnaround and somebody else can pick it up. See, that's my understanding of the situation. So this Call of Duty thing is probably something that he's been working on for a little while. And that's one of the few things they've got coming out here that actually sounds like this is what they should be doing. Because you got Taylor Sheridan, Peter Berg making a Call of Duty movie. I'm not even a Call of Duty fan. I've never even played a Call of Duty game. Mm-hmm. But you put those two together, the guys that made Hell and High Water, I'm fucking there. If you haven't seen that movie, do yourself a favor. That's why one of the reasons Taylor Sheridan is considered as good as he is. Because that movie is amazing. I mean, you could probably seen Sicario and some of the other shit, which is closer to more of his television stuff. But check out Hell or High Water. Great fucking movie. If these guys are going to make a Call of Duty movie, I might actually go see it. And I don't give a shit about Call of Duty.
I know some people in the chat are questioning whether Sheridan is actually conservative. I would say that even if he's not conservative, he's at least very masculine.
I was going to say, I think from most things I've heard, he is. And if you can tell from his shows, he kind of is.
Kevin Costner definitely is not. Just
Costner and him clearly butt heads.
They hate each other. They
he's the only two. It's only one of his stars. It seems like that has him that have not gotten along. Those two. I'm trying to think of any other time.
Stallone get along great.
Seems like it, but now Stallone. Here's another thing that just happened. And this is kind of offshoot. They just replaced a bunch of people on Tulsa King for season 4.
Did they?
Yeah.
Like recast?
Not recast, but behind the scenes, like a bunch of people on the creative side of things. So I have no idea what the hell just happened there.
I'm curious about what did those people that were replaced had in common. I wouldn't be surprised if now we were starting to get some kind of the people that may have expressed views that no longer hold up. Mm-hmm. Let's say, that
because it's all in time with this other business that's going on too, with the story that's coming out that there's a list at Paramount. So I don't know if we want to get to that eventually here, but I know Andre, you wanted to talk about this other stuff first. So
well, we'll get to the list eventually here, but let's hear the rest of the panelists chime in on the story here. Chris, any thoughts on this? Are you impressed with what Ellison has done in the first 100 days at Paramount?
I am, actually. I think he's making a lot of smart moves. I even think the idea of trying to court Tom Cruise back is a smart move. I am a little amused about him daring anyone else to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, but him being
it's like asking Netflix to do it, right?
Important is not surprising to me. What's that, Tom?
Sorry, I said that just is like asking Netflix to do it, right? Like tempting.
Yeah. But I mean, these are uber rich narcissists, probably sociopaths with this kind of money that they're talking about. So that sort of behavior doesn't surprise me. I'm impressed. I mean, what do you think, Andre? Are you surprised by any of this?
No, I'm not surprised by any of it. And if anything, I was hoping we would have seen more in the first 100 days, because they've had Paramount for 100 days, and for 50 of them, the focus has been on Warner. And if that's going to be next, I would really much rather see a major turnaround operation at Paramount before we see what's going to happen at Warner.
I think though that CBS, there's been so much upheaval at CBS that's probably been the primary focus.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And that also goes to show like the new focus, because Ellison Sr., he's a friend of Benjamin Netanyahu. He's very friendly with both Trump and some of Trump's major donors, who also are, shall we say, rather pro-Israeli in nature. So that definitely is going to be important going forward. There's not going to be much in the way of. This is not the place for any pro-Palestine protest, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that obviously is a factor. But beyond that, I would have liked to see more of a strategy of exactly what he's going to do to overhaul the studio creatively. Because as it is right now, we are still really just guessing, and we're applying wishful thinking to what we hope that he wants to do, and we do that because we don't know what he's actually going to do. We haven't seen any concrete plan for what he's going to do, although he says that he wants more content. But what's the nature of that content? Who's going to make it? What kind of quality control will be in place? We don't know. He is still very much so the devil that you don't know. So in this sense, I'm impressed by some of the moves, but I would rather have seen more moves so that now 100 days in, we would know more about what David Ellison stands for. As it is, it's wishful thinking and guesstimates, because we have nothing else to go on. Yeah, I see Marvin nodding in agreement.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as wishful thinking and stuff, like, don't even get me started on the Snyder Bros.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm not saying that there isn't a possibility that couldn't happen at some time, but you're talking even more things have to come into place than the Snyder Cut, right? So in this case,
well, the Lord and Savior isn't helping matters much by tweeting out pictures of Henry Cavill every other day, because he knows that it keeps his name in circulation.
Yes, that's typical Snyder bullshit. It's because he's desperate right now. He's got nothing.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, we already know from most reports that Ellison plans on keeping majority of the creative team in place. And as far as Gunn goes, even if he didn't like him, it doesn't matter. Gunn's contract goes for so long. Until that contract's up, he can't do shit. And as far as I know, DC Films was separated so that Gunn could have autonomy, right? Like, that's the whole point of it, kind of like how Feige does with Marvel, right? It's a whole separate studio. Even though they handle distribution at Disney, it's still its own separate thing. My understanding is that's how DC is handled now, and it never has been before.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, like, I mean, I want to believe that Paramount's going to be great. I mean, some of my favorite IPs are over at Paramount, not to mention Ninja Turtles, obviously, Beavis and Butthead, South Park.
King of the Hill.
A big King of the, well, that's actually Hulu and at Disney. But I mean, I'm a big fan of the Sheridan shows. There's some of the few shows I actually watch regularly. Like, Tulsa King's my favorite fucking show.
Me too.
Hands down. I mean, I love Sylvester Stallone and him and Atisha. I get to watch Sylvester Stallone every week. Sign me up. Right?
In a mafia show, nonetheless.
Nonetheless, yeah, he's finally playing a mob guy that is an Oscar.
Finally. Yep.
And for those who don't know, Oscar was one of his flops. That actually was the movie that killed John Landis's career. Yeah, John Landis actually killed kids, but that wasn't what killed his career. Sylvester Stallone in a gangster comedy killed his career. People may not.
It's a shame because I freaking loved that movie.
It is a good movie. Well, it's based on a play, but the problem with it is they spent, I think, the equivalent of probably like $100 million today on the movie, which was just insane. And if I remember right, it was the last major studio movie that Landis was ever allowed to do because of how expensive it was, and Sylvester Stallone just went nuts with the budget and everything like that. And it was not even needed because it's just it's based on a play, and it bombed at the box office. So I don't know the actual budget, but I just know it was astronomical at the time. But anyhow, that being said, beyond that, like that doesn't look good for Paramount Television at the end of the day if they're losing Sheridan, who basically is their main guy. And that's kind of what Marvin was getting at too. And I'm curious how Paul views a lot of this, because Sheridan, and this is one of the other rumors, is that the reason why Ellison wasn't too quick to give him an offer, or is not too sad to see him go, is that Sheridan basically was de facto running CBS television. I don't know if you heard this or not. Like he was running the network, basically all the shows that were being greenlit, and it was up to him, I guess, beyond his even stuff. So I have no idea how true that is or what was going on. But Marvin, it sounds like you heard something similar.
Yeah, I did. I heard that, Ellison wants to be the sole boss, and Sheridan had a lot of power consolidated around his shows and around CBS in general. So there was a lot of friction between the two because of that he didn't want a power struggle, essentially.
And I can understand that. I mean, you're the new guy coming in, you want to be able to take control over everything, but is it worth losing?
Yeah, I was going to say Sheridan's shows are also notoriously expensive. They pay off, but like they are very expensive.
But again, to Paul, I mean, as the TV guy here, what do you do? I mean, how would you feel if your major asset just walked out the door?
I would say that I would view it as Sheridan's time in the sun is over. You can't be that good forever.
Good point.
I would be very happy to take the risk that he's done, except for maybe the odd thing here and there. There's actually more talent available in the United States or in the world. The mistake that people are making is that we are bereft of talent. No, we're bereft of individuals hiring that talent. That's really what we're missing. There are other Taylor Sheridans out there at a much cheaper cost, and possibly, at least at the beginning of their careers, much easier to deal with. If I was Ellison, I would do the following things. Yes, I think getting rid of the Taylor Sheridan connection, I think, is actually a good thing. I would find the next Taylor Sheridans, and start supporting them, putting them into your farm team, nurture them. The other thing that I would do is, and I don't know where they are in their cable contract, but get out of the mandatory cable connection to the local IP arrangement that they've got right now. I think NBC has been trying to do that. So right now, if I want CBS, I actually have to get the CBS app, and I have to prove that I have a Cogeco cable account. Then I can watch the app. They need to get rid of that. They need to be completely free of the cable chokehold and be able to have their own app, free and clear, available on Apple TV or any of these applications, Google Chrome, things like that, and be able to broadcast out purely on the internet for free with commercials. That, I think, is one of the prime things they've got to do. And you know me, I've said this many times, they need to get back into network TV production. And right now, all the companies that are tied to the cable contract, as cable becomes a diminishing audience, it's just making things worse. So that's the other thing that I would be doing, is just getting out of the cable contract.
That makes sense.
Yeah, indeed. That's he should be taking notes, because he's getting the executive management class right here and how to do this. So yeah, absolutely. No, I agree completely, and I'm also curious what he's going to do with these shows that Skydance had a significant interest in, which aren't on Paramount, like for instance Foundation, which I'm watching right now. Is that going to be influenced by this in any way? Because that's a Skydance show first and foremost. It's just not on Paramount.
Do you think the fact that he spent like I feel like most of his effort in the first 100 days has been reshaping CBS News? Do you think any of that had to do with the situation with Trump and 60 Minutes?
Yeah,
right away he wanted to make sure that's fixed.
I would say so. To me, the funny thing right now is the amount of grief Barry Weiss is getting right at the very beginning of trying to revamp. The stories of abject failure 3 days into running CBS News has been hilarious.
Yes.
Really? I mean, give the woman 6 months, a year, something. Yeah. Give her a bit of time to figure out just what CBS News has to be. I think it's hilarious that they've gone after her so hard and so fast, just right out of the gate.
Oh, it's like that it's like the old joke when like the new guy becomes president and like his first day in office, they're like, the country's not fixed yet.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Obama promised that everything would be different.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. But it only goes to show that even though Barry Weiss has some establishment ideas, she's not establishment proper.
No.
And she'll never live down being humiliated on Joe Rogan.
True. That was a very bad interview for her.
Yeah.
That was. But I mean, she doesn't have the Edward R. Murrow tattoo on her ass, the Edward R. Murrow tramp stamp, which is very popular amongst the CBS. Leslie Stahl, I believe, has the Edward R. Murrow tramp stamp.
She really stepped in it when she called Tulsi Gabbard a toady.
That was the
Joe
Rogan
what
thing.
A toady was.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be the Joe Rogan thing, where he suddenly pushed back on her, something she had never, ever experienced before.
All right.
None of her friends in New York Times ever pushed back on anyone saying anything. They were all in the echo chamber there. That was,
and Joe is supportive of Tulsi Gabbard, which
was
probably what prompted the pushback.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, because she was making
she went from smug to
claims.
Confused in about 2 seconds on that.
Yeah, indeed. But let's move on from this a little bit, unless Tom has any final thoughts on this particular topic. Otherwise, we just have to wait and see exactly what Ellison is going to bring into the picture here.
I mean, we could talk a little bit about the Warner thing. I mean, do we think it's a possibility? I mean, honestly, I think what he's after is the IPs, the music, to bolster their television, which I think is going to be the problem, because I think once they do that, they're going to run into some, I don't know if it'd be monopoly perhaps, but the problem is Warner Brothers and Paramount are the two biggest producers of television. So if they come together, then that's going to dwarf everybody else so much. And I don't mean just for like their own networks. I mean for every network, right? Like they do stuff for. So that's going to be a problem. The other things aside of this is just, we don't need more studios conglomerating. And there was another, I think, piece in this article or another offshoot of this article where they were talking about that, of how Hollywood is dying. Now they're finally saying Hollywood is dying. The thing that we've been saying for a while And the only way they're going to survive is if these studios do conglomerate, right? So I don't know what you guys feel about that, if you want to talk a little bit about that, but otherwise we can move on. It doesn't matter to me because the Warner Brothers thing is still up in the air, Fugazi. The other part, like you brought up, Andre, I think is the bigger point is we're going to have to wait and see how his reign goes after, so many months.
Yeah. Another thing to discuss there are the lists that you mentioned.
Yes,
Tom.
the lists. Yes, I forgot about the lists. Yes.
Let's move into the lists.
Yes, go ahead. I don't have that in front of me now, but let me grab it here. So I guess evidently there is this list over at Paramount that if you are pro Palestine, you won't be working there, according to the report. Let me grab this here.
It's a good thing all the pro Palestine Hollywood celebrities haven't signed their names to one list recently.
Oh, they did, and in fact, some Snyder Bros tried to make it out that David Cornsweet did, and he did not.
Yeah, we
So
covered the fact that was a ruse on that Park Place.
Yeah.
So we held back on that.
That's what I've been trying to tell people for a while. Like, you guys got to be careful with this stuff because the
Did
Snyder
Millie
Bros
Alcott
are poisoning
sign it though?
I think.
They have not disproven that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that I don't know, but oh God, I hope Seth Rogen signed it. That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
that is the problem with signaling virtue when you are moving away from being an actor, which is the thing that to being a social influencer and someone who uses your celebrity to push certain political ideologies. It's unbelievable to me that so many agents had said, yeah, in this era of digital marketing, you need that social media following, so you need to follow this, and this social cause. Evidently not realizing that, dude, this is a temporary thing. There's going to be a backlash. It's going to be really, really bad because no matter how much you may think you are on the right side of history, before you know it, suddenly you might find yourself on the wrong one. And it wouldn't have been an issue if you had just shut up and danced, which is essentially what you're supposed to do as an actor. Just read the lines. You don't need to opine on anything that you are not qualified to have an opinion about. Like, for instance, Mark Ruffalo, who's been in streams where he says people shouldn't listen to anything that Elon Musk says. You need to listen to us. We need to know what's best for you. No, you don't. You're a bloody actor. You don't know anything about nothing.
Did you see? Boy, I missed the story here. I just got back.
Did you see what Emma Stone said just the other day about how she's not going to talk about politics anymore because nobody cares about what celebrities say about politics?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what she should have said years ago. She should have said that. Yep. She'd be like, no, I'm not going to weigh in on anything for this reason. It's not just that people don't care. It's worse. That's their excuse. It's not that people do care. And that's what's bad. It's that people do care. And that's bad for business. The correct answer should be, I'm not going to say anything about that because I'm an actor and I have nothing to add on that particular topic. I am in no position to weigh in on it. That's the correct opinion. That's the correct answer.
Jenna Ortega, has had a fairly clean record of not flapping her lips, suddenly stepped into it the other day. I heard her, finally, maybe her star has risen to the point where she needs to tell us her opinion.
Oh, by the way, that was Jennifer Lawrence that said that, not Emma Stone.
No, Jenna Ortega also.
I get those two very mixed up.
Well, so Jenna Ortega. Oh, Jennifer Lawrence.
No, what I said when I said Emma Stone said the thing about not speaking out about politics, it was Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, I think Emma Stone still has her foot in her mouth.
Probably.
Yeah.
Does this qualify as illegal discrimination if Paramount has this blacklist?
Well, what do you mean
that depends entirely. You can ask. That depends on who's in charge and who's in power. Like, for instance, if someone were to blacklist everyone who is MAGA, they've been doing that for years anyway. It was okay then. Then he didn't mind. So why should you suddenly mind now? This is the problem with lists and why no one should really be keeping them.
No, there should be no list. I mean, I could imagine someone expressing a preference for not hiring these people. That's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't agree with this. I think it's kind of silly, but at the end of the day, look, I don't want to play like there's no, look, stereotypes come from a place usually, right? Like, let's be real. We all know Hollywood is chock full of Jewish people.
Yep.
It's no secret. Like, it's never been a secret. It's the oldest joke in the book. And at the end of the day, what the hell do you expect to happen if you're going to do something anti-Semitic like that? Like, look what happened to Mel Gibson. I mean, come on, folks. Like, I don't like it, though. I think it's bad. I think it's a bad move. This is one thing I don't agree with Ellison doing with Paramount. I think it's opening
No,
themselves
I don't
up
think
for,
it makes any sense at all.
yeah. I think it's opening themselves up for problems in the future. Yeah.
You know,
wrongs don't make a
political
right.
beliefs are not a protected class, right? And
Yeah.
I ran a company that was pro-American, and I had a list of people who were anti-American that I didn't want to hire. That wouldn't be illegal because it's not your political belief shouldn't be a protected class. I don't think it is. Now, if you don't think there are left-wing companies that won't hire Trump supporters, if you don't think that happens, you're crazy. So it doesn't surprise me that Larry Ellison, who is Italian Jewish, his mom was Jewish, would make this decision. Now, if they are not, and I think the term overt is key here, because if you're on this list, you've never made some public anti-Semitic remark, you could sue. Bottom line, for defamation. Yeah. But Mark Ruffalo, I think we all know where Mark Ruffalo stands, right? And he is out and open and proud of it. So you know what you're getting into when you deal with Mark Ruffalo. But if there are other people on this list who have not been overt, then, there may be a problem. That's my take.
The millionaires telling us what to do is always hilarious.
Or rather, not just telling us what to do, but which sacrifices we have to make.
I don't have any problem with how a millionaire wants to hire and fire people based on attributes that are related to people's opinions. I go back to the same thing. If you're going to be a millionaire, if you run a company, a media company of this size, obviously, right? So millionaire aside, that's just divisive talk. But if I'm Jewish, no, I probably don't want to hire people that hate Jews, right? So to me, it doesn't get any more simple than that. I don't know what the problem really is unless these people truly have not made public statements that support this claim that they are overtly anti-Semitic. Because if they haven't, then there's a problem here.
But in the end,
I don't want to have that sort of list. I'm not Jewish, right?
In the end, lists are bad no matter who's making them.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's sort of a blanket statement. I understand, though. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. But if I was let's say I was running a company that made American flags and we were run by veterans, U.S. veterans of our armed forces, and I found out that they were considering hiring a human resources person that hated America and hated the military, would it be wrong for me to say, don't hire that person?
Yeah, but none of this has to be made public. In Hollywood, there are people who don't hire other people because they just hate their fucking guts.
Right.
I mean, is that a protected class?
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, is it because it was written down that this is a problem?
I mean, I think you should have a list of hating their guts.
Oh, so it's okay if I have a list of these are the people whose guts I hate. Don't hire them.
That's okay.
Well, I mean, so that might get applied to Trump supporters. These are all the celebrities who I know. Here's John Voight, Sylvester Stallone. Here's Mel Gibson. Here's Chris Pratt. Do not hire them. They are Trump supporters.
Though, yeah, but yes, I would imagine that they're
that is happening. That's what I meant before. That is happening. That has been
look
happening.
at David Harbour.
Well, Gina Carano, you know, her lawsuit, though, I believe what she was suing over was not was sexism, right? It wasn't the fact that it was because she was a Trump supporter. It was because she wasn't, her male co-stars who also were being political were not punished in the same way. Am I correct in that?
Yes, and that goes to show the bias against her for her leanings.
Yeah.
No, it's her fault for not being famous and powerful enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just her fault for being on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt is on the wrong side of history, but because he's bankable, they're going to make movies.
I will say this about Chris Pratt versus Gina Carano. Gina Carano was, like me, a troll. So she would say the things that would cause the dust-ups. Chris Pratt does not engage in that sort of social media.
He seems to be a really sweet guy.
He really seems to come across that way.
I'm sure
probably
that
the most controversial things he will say is, you know, we should pray. You should go to church, you know, something like that. Evangelical proselytizing. And even that is extremely subdued. But Gina Carano, I mean, she's an MMA fighter. Of course she's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not controversial, but confrontational, right?
Yeah. And
the comparison is apt, I think, though. You know, Gina Carano is probably on some lists out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so it's okay if those lists exist. But let's be fair. If a list came out that had Gina Carano, what I just described, if that got released, what would the Hollywood press say? They would not care
at all.
I wouldn't cover it.
No. This is only being covered because Hollywood loves the Palestinian cause. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. And also, many actually have tried to get Chris Pratt cancelled, and I'm sure he would have been, were it not for the fact that he hasn't said anything that could be used as an excuse to get him fired. That's what Gina Carano did, as Chris was alluding to. She was saying things that they could latch onto and say, oh, you just said something anti-Semitic, which of course it wasn't. But that was the best excuse that they had to latch on to fire her for not being aligned with the political cause that they were, and there was the excuse to get rid of her. Chris Pratt hasn't given anyone any such excuse. Plus, he's bankable.
My favorite thing with the Gina Carano thing was that right around the same exact time that she had made her tweet, Mark Ruffalo and Pedro Pascal had also made similar tweets pointing in the other direction, you know, bringing up World War II and the German regime and blah, 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 and nothing happened to them. So,
yeah. No, of course, that was in the direction that they like. Which I'm not defending, but that's their logic.
It's just such twisted logic, you know, because the same people that were probably accusing Carano of being anti-Semitic are probably pro-Palestinian too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like, it's just a card. It's just a card that they said, quick, grab the anti-Semite card. And then it's quick, grab the Nazi card. You know, it's just bizarre. You know, it's twisted logic, but this is the world we live in, right? This is what we're not going to fix it.
No,
well,
you need some kind of virtue signaling to latch onto to ameliorate the guilt you have for your personal wealth.
That's what a lot of virtue signaling is.
That's what it is.
You're trying to assuage the guilt you have for
correct.
Something.
Right. And that's just it. All it takes is one person to be offended for it to become that thing, right? Like, you don't even have to be the one to make the joke. all you have to do is laugh at the joke, and then you'll be considered racist or bigot or transphobe or whatever. Insert your thing here. So in this case, like, yeah, I don't like lists. I agree with you guys. For the most part, that this is not a good thing. But
yes, these people are assholes.
yes, these people
we
are
can
assholes.
move on.
We can move on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we can do that.
Speaking
I don't think
of moving
anyone
on,
disputed that.
Wood Nut Insider sends in 50 Norwegian krona to say, or ask us, you guys talk about Godzilla -0 yet? Yes, we did. Can't wait for that shit. -1 was amazing. Dig how they embarrassed Hollywood. The effects were dope. Well, hopefully they do the same with the sequel. Yeah.
I brought my wife to see that one, and I'm like, come see this Godzilla movie, and she was just like, why? I don't want to see that. Blah, blah. Like, she's complaining the entire time while we sit down. 25 minutes into the movie, I look over, she's literally sitting on the edge of her seat, like leaning forward. Like, she's so
she had a Star Trek 09 experience, only
exactly.
more so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She was Tom at Star Trek 09. I never want to compare my wife.
Well, and I loved it. I expected to like it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
I was shocked at how good it was.
Oh, and what was her reaction when the lead actress character pushed our hero into the crevice between the buildings, and then she got blown away, essentially sacrificing her life for this guy that she ostensibly loves? What was her reaction at that moment?
You know what? I didn't check her reaction at that moment, but I probably should have.
Oh my God. I was completely verklempt. I mean,
yeah, that whole movie
was a very amazing moment.
Because I think that in more recent movies, you start to see Godzilla's appearance as like an exciting thing, as like he's almost like heroic in a way. Whereas in this one, when Godzilla showed up, you cared about these human characters so much that there was this sense of dread that you had the second he showed up. Because the problem with every other Godzilla movie is you're always just like, I don't care about these humans, get back to the monsters. And in this one, you cared about this human story so much.
All the humans.
Godzilla, so good.
The guys on the crazy gunboat, they were all whacked. They're just a wonderful range of characters. And the two main characters, again, in that Japanese cultural thing, she made it clear that he was the guy for her, but he wasn't capable of bringing himself to admit it to himself in that very stoic Japanese way. And you're just, you're just thinking and yelling, get, jump the woman.
Yeah.
God damn it. Just jump her. That's what you want.
I was pissed about Parasite winning Best Picture over, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If Hollywood wanted to make it up to me, they should have gave Godzilla -1 at least a nomination. It should have won Best Picture. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. But
yeah,
hey, at the end of the day, I can't wait for the sequel, and I hope it is Monster Zero. Lightning Sketch Production says a new video from a professional animator that understands business helped me calm down about an AI issue. AI has more complications than shortcuts, and it'll cheapen brands which audiences reject. Yeah, I get this. This is something we've discussed a few times. AI is only going to be as good as the person who's using it, really, at the end of the day. Go ahead, Chris. You were about to say something.
I wanted to weigh in on that. That's a good point.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Professional animation is difficult to do. It's expensive because I own a video production company. I've hired animators from Canada to Ukraine, former Disney animators. It's expensive work. It's meticulous work. However, I have to say, I also do graphic novel publishing, and I have used tools that, yes, once you dial in the right prompts, and that's really the key, you really have to be specific the way you prompt the AI tools. And the one I'm thinking of is one called Prome AI, Prome AI, where you have to ensure you have to have good art to start with. You can't just say, I guess you could say animate something to look like Pixar and here's what I want and it'll turn out okay. But for the purposes of what we've done when we've promoted some of those graphic novels is we've taken panels and artwork and it has to stay restricted to be true to the original art, and you can get something that turns out looking as good as Heavy Metal the movie, if you are very meticulous. The problem with the AI in its current state, I'm sure it'll improve, is you have to reprompt because you think you've got a good detailed prompt, and then, oh crap, next thing you know, they look googly-eyed, right? Because you tried to give some specific explanation as to which direction their eyes were going to go. Well, their eyes went both directions, right? Or suddenly it's just like the whole thing falls apart and it looks like slop, right? Where you get this,
or you get a bunch of extra fingers or other things that you don't notice.
Yeah, things like that. But if you've got the time and the budget, you can dial it in. Now, you'll never have that problem with an animator. Luckily for me, the animators from, like, the Canadian animator spoke English, the Ukrainian animator spoke English, right? And it was very clear what I was trying to do, but the expense, I understand why people are moving and shifting into this AI animation. But it's not just going to be self-generating, right? It's not just going to be something that isn't, it's not going to do it itself. And I've showed you guys before some of the stuff from the old Fritz Lang, Tom and Jerry cartoons that were being generated,
AI generated
just
animation,
like the original stuff. So it's still storytelling. It's a storytelling tool. And with the right storytelling, the tool can be used to great effect.
AI animation has a hard time keeping the semblance of the character all the way through. It loses it. There's an AI joke that I love in the programming world. Without AI, I can spend 8 hours programming and 1 hour debugging. With AI, I can spend minutes programming and 3 months debugging.
Reminds me of the one time we used AI to write the script for us. Never has a script pissed me off that much, and I had to rewrite literally every single word of it.
You're debugging.
Yeah.
Yes.
People say to me all the time, like, aren't you worried that, like, AI is going to replace you as a writer? And I'm like, no, I've tested it. I'm not worried.
No, but plenty of people should be worried, though, because there are many, many things that AI can do, not just individual tasks, but different places in the pipeline. And now I'm not talking creative arts, but everything else. So a ton of people are going to lose their jobs because of AI,
things like
not
that.
directly, but indirectly. This is a huge freaking problem.
Yeah, AI will be able to rip apart a screenplay and then provide all the props, locations, and order the screenplay into the right order to make shooting seamless and contained within every single set application. That's one of the things AI is going to be able to do, and then cost out that screenplay for the production. That there's going to be people in the back end that are going to be suffering from it. But the biggest concern I will always have with AI is not the dumbing down of the authors, the dumbing down of the audience.
Yeah.
And now we're getting into idiocracy territory where people are going to be so stupid that someone is going to generate a wretched script and the audience loves it and doesn't really care.
Well, that's happening now.
That's happened a few times already.
Yeah, that's happened. I mean,
everyone thinks they want the Hunt for Ben Solo.
Well, again, look at the difference between reading a
latter Transformers movies.
Yes, but I mean, I'm talking about, like, read a Dan Brown novel versus a Charles Dickens, not Charles Dickens. Yes, novel.
Dickens works.
Yeah, so you read the two, and you're going to go, okay, this is the Dan Brown novels written for kindergartners, and then Dickens is high art with great vocabulary, great imagination, wonderful characters. We're already dumbing ourselves down.
I always said that the Da Vinci Code was as popular as it was because it was so infantile in its language, and it kept the chapters super short, so you felt like you were flying through it. Whereas Charles Dickens was actually paid per word, which is why so much of his work is so flowery and wordy. I love it.
Well, he had to make it as long as he could to make as much money from it. That's the more words
It's
he
the
had,
other
and the
side.
longer
That's the other
went.
end of the problem, right?
Yeah. So,
For
anyways,
those for
yeah,
money.
but I understand that a lot of novels are shoved through a machine, which will then will tell you at what grade level this book has been written at.
Yeah.
And it will change the words on your behalf to dumb it down. That's
I've seen it used on draft scripts to point out plot threads or plot holes that didn't get resolved. So I've seen where some authors have actually used that.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. So, and that's what the point I was going to make too in video production. There's even sort of a generative AI where maybe you've shot video of a Jeep. You know, you're pacing with a Jeep on a beach, right? And you got the shot, but then all of a sudden you bumped and the camera's just like, okay, well, you can cut right before that and then use a generative AI and it will make almost up, Adobe's suite will do almost up to 10 seconds of additional footage created based on what it was given that works. I mean, it will blow your mind. So there are little tools here and there that I think can increase productivity. The problem is humans, being what we are, we're always looking for more and more shortcuts.
Yep.
And that's part of the problem. You got some people that are using it as a tool to punch up their script or fix something that they may have overlooked. You got others that are just having the script written by AI, right? So.
Indeed.
Brands will be cheapened. The entropy is in full effect. And I think each generation is getting dumber anyhow, with or without AI, Paul. It just is. I think we were probably much smarter back in Dickens' day.
I'm certainly getting dumber.
I know what you mean. And thank you, Lightning, for that, because I think you got your $9.99 worth there. Woodnut in a Cider says, don't know about COD, but Medal of Honor on the PS1 was top tier. The best first-person shooter for the system, absolute god tier. Produced by Spielberg and the soundtrack by Michael Giacchino. He also did Star Trek 09. Yes. I think I played Medal of Honor. COD, I don't think I have, though. Pack and Proton says, would be interesting if Comcast bought Warner's. I don't think they can. This is what I brought up before. Even though Universal...
Up in regulatory stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because the problem there is then... Again, getting into monopolies, Warner Brothers and Universal are two of the three companies that own all the music right now. So if Universal were to buy Warner Brothers, they'd have to shed the music and some other things. So I think that would be a problem. And again, I don't even know how Paramount's going to get away with it with the television side of things, but we'll have to see on that.
Speaking of music, Tom, I bet you know this, but if you've ever watched any Apple TV Plus shows, all of them have got well-known music in the shows.
Oh, you're going to get that in everything now because of the way that the music's been conglomerated. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just suspected that maybe for you to have your music on Apple Music, maybe that was part of the deal that you.
The one good thing about all these music companies conglomerating is that now we don't have as many hurdles, or at least the people making movies don't have as many hurdles as they used to have to go through to get music. Because a lot of this stuff is handled by somebody at the department now where it goes directly pipelined into them. And that's another reason why a lot of these companies are just buying out the catalogs and the likenesses and all this other stuff of all these artists now so they can have all controlling interest, right? So they don't have to deal with any bullshit. They don't have to go through a bunch of crap. Because, you know, famously, it was always difficult to get, like, Beatles songs or Led Zeppelin especially. Now you hear Beatles songs everywhere. Why? Because they finally pipelined all that stuff. And they can maximize the money that they can make off that. And that's what these, because there is no money left in music. That's the problem. So a large portion of it is in licensing now.
Yeah.
So that's where you're starting to hear all these songs we never would have heard before in movies and television because the companies have now been conglomerated and they actually have people that are out there doing the work to go, okay, well, this is what this is worth and it's not going to cost you a fortune or you don't have to call Paul McCartney and get his permission.
Yeah, it's surprisingly affordable. And that all really started in the early teens, I think, 2010.
Yeah, that's when
12,
BMG, Sony, and
recently used an Ella Fitzgerald's At Last in a production. It was really affordable. It blew me away how cheap it was, honestly.
Yeah, it's because they ain't making any money right now.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. But yeah, Comcast buying Warner's is a plausibility. They already work together on a lot of things, so it'd be interesting to see if that were to happen. Packing Protons then says, this atheist says, pray for New Jersey, another 12 years of democratic destruction of our beautiful state. Did they ever figure out what the smell was yet, though?
It's a shame.
Hey. I mean, you're not wrong. He's right, but he's out of line.
Well, you know what they say about New Jersey. You know why all the lawyers are in New York and all the toxic waste sites are in New Jersey? Because New Jersey had first pick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I was
Lord.
dreading when I was
that was
going
fun.
ball, and then it went a place where I appreciated it.
The Lightning Sketch says people are better than AI. Absolutely. But even with the, like, I didn't really chime in much on it, but the whole music side of things, I mean, I've used it a lot, and it's amazing what it can do. In fact, I think we can probably start talking about one of our next projects will probably be Night of the Living Dead, and I do have to redo the soundtrack for us to be able to have it on YouTube. So, because it's full of a bunch of library music. That's the
I
problem.
see a dog behind you,
That's Sadie.
Tom.
Yes.
Hopefully you're not going to shock it.
Oh,
Why would I shock my dog?
Hassan.
It's a reference
be a
to
trend.
to that YouTuber, like the nephew of Shank Ugood. What's his name?
Oh,
again?
Hassan. What did
Yeah,
he do to a
Hassan Parker, that's
dog?
the one.
You didn't see this? This was everywhere.
No.
Oh
he
no!
dried his
You
dog
serious,
behind him
Tom?
to make sure it stayed the
No.
drop in the background.
Oh
Yeah,
my
he-
God!
It's a shock collar on
Have
his
you been
dog.
under a rock?
I didn't. I got a life now, Paul. You know, having a girlfriend and stuff can do that to you.
Yeah, I can.
Like, whoa! I did not hear. I don't really follow Hassan
No,
anyway, but
one of his background props was his dog, and the dog was supposed to sit there in peace. And
Forever.
if it didn't, he would shock it.
He claims not to, but we all saw him reach
wow.
over, and then suddenly the dog went. "Arf!"
So,
Yeah, it was a shock collar.
It was a
oh,
shock
fuck that
collar.
guy. He's done.
Oh yeah,
You can't fuck with dogs or cats. You're done.
he's pretty close to being done. He's still surviving. Lots of.
I think he
people
was at the
protect-
New York mayor's victory party last night.
Yeah, of course he was.
Wow.
Yeah, because he's.
Oh yeah, with idiots like that. Damashep says, "Pray for anime fans. My favorite manga publisher I'm gonna screw this up. Kodansha.
It's like
Has-
Kodansha.
Kodansha. Okay, thank you. Has started a new Hollywood studio for global audience film adaptations of their manga. They put Chloe Zhao of the Eternals in charge of it.
What?
Amazing.
It's not enough that she's going to ruin Buffy. She's got to ruin anime now, too.
What in her history has made anybody think she should be doing this shit?
She
She
shouldn't
made
be doing
she made the first
anything.
Marvel bomb in history. She's about to ruin Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And now, oh my gosh.
She should be on that list.
Probably is.
Probably is, yeah. But no, I mean, I'm not saying she shouldn't be making movies, but like we've seen this how many times with Marvel and all these other people. Like the old Avenue, where did it go? Paul knows what I'm talking about. You used to get in through commercials and music videos, right? You'd cut your teeth on that, then you'd finally get into television, and then finally they'd give you a movie, you know, and then hopefully you could make your, way with that. And then if you got big and moved on further, you got your chances. You don't be making Marvel movies right after you're making some like fucking 16 millimeter indie picture. This is getting to be weird.
Or a documentary in her case.
documentary and shit, yeah.
And her vision was so utterly whack. She had the absolute wrong vision for Eternal. She should never, ever have been hired for it. And indeed, I don't understand how on earth she could do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's silly. And then Walter Tomaszewski says, could Live Nation or AEG grab Warner Brothers Discovery leftovers?
They have the money.
Yeah, but why would they want them? Because basically Sastar is like splitting Warner into like all the good things that makes money and all the leftover shit that no one wants. And why would anyone want it?
Yeah, they'll end up selling all that extra bullshit for nothing. Kind of like what they did with the WB and what was that publisher they had? I can't remember the name of it now, but
Paramount, you mean?
Oh no, that was Schuster. I was thinking CBS. That's right.
Simon and Schuster, yeah.
Yeah, that was CBS. But no, like they basically gave away the CW, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys remember that or not. So I think that's the same thing that's going to happen here. Is I think you're 100% right, Andre, and that's the plan. And that's what Zaslav's kind of been saying is like, basically in so many words, unless somebody comes up with an offer that's that they can't refuse at this point, there's no reason for them to sell. They're just going to split the company up. And there's still other companies that'll probably be interested in some of the other stuff once they do. So,
yeah. And just to briefly answer a question that I saw in the chat here, Bill S. Preston wonders, was Eternals really Chloe Zhao's fault?
Good question.
Not exclusively, but she was a very big part of the problem on that one. Really, it was the fault of Kevin Feige. He's the one who was primarily to blame because he should never ever have hired Chloe Zhao in the first place. But given that she was hired, she had the completely wrong vision and she didn't stand up to any of the shit decisions. But of course, if she had done that, she wouldn't have been hired.
I would argue she was the wrong director to begin with.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Like that's kind of your point, but yeah, like it's
And
you can't really blame her.
They leaned into my least favorite trope on the planet, which is evil Superman. Cannot stand that trope.
Well, that is what it is. So we'll see how bad that turns out for the folks over there at that. I'm not going to even try to remember the name of it, but the anime studio. So with that, Andre, was there any other things that we had?
Nope, we are fully caught up. We have more videos to make, so I have to get back to that because it's been a few days with the slow news, but now news are coming, and so will Midnight's Edge videos be.
Yes, indeed. So look forward to that. And Chris, what you got going on over at Bleeding Fool?
Bleeding Fool's big story right now is Dave Huber's back from the College Fix. He's talking about he's a longtime comics fan, and he loved the Marvel movies right up until Endgame, like a lot of us did, and just thinks the whole multiverse thing has been played out. There's just no stakes anymore. There's no reason to get invested anymore. He kind of breaks down some of the rumors for Doomsday. So that's top of the headline over on Bleeding Fool right now. And you can check our X account or me over at Chris Brawley. That's what's going on.
Awesome sauce. Marvin, what you got going on?
Oh gosh, we got so much going on over at That Park Place, geeksandgamers.com. News dropping pretty much every 45 minutes. So you can go check that out over on my channel, Tooningtown TV. We have got a live stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Tooning Talk TV. So please come check that out. And I have recently gotten everything to finally put together my game streaming setup. So that's going to be coming very soon to Tooningtown TV.
Awesome sauce. Paul, where's my fucking TV guide video?
The more you ask, the less I'm going to do it.
I'm the one who has to do it. I get told by people all the time that I have to bug you endlessly until we get them because all five of us love them.
The more you ask, the less interested I'm doing it. In the same way we've been begging my son to finish off that Datsun 240Z in the fucking garage. And then he goes, oh, I'm not going to work on it now that you bugged me about it.
Okay, Dad.
Yeah, so don't bug me and it'll get done. Get it?
What do you have coming up, though?
So I did publish a review of The Bitcher season 4, and that's gone extremely well. So I had a lot of fun with that.
Unlike the show,
The Bitcher or your review?
I was going to say your review has gone well. The show has not.
My review has been doing better than the show. And later on, I think I'm going to start a Penthouse Letters channel where I grab my 1970s penthouse and just read the letters to the editor.
That would be interesting.
I'm kidding. I did that as a stand-up routine where I went on stage with the Penthouse and, dear Penthouse, you would never believe what happened, but I opened the door the other day and there was this cable repair lady with huge hooters.
That's bullshit.
Of course, but they were fun to read to the audience.
Oh, of course, yes. They were always fun.
And the more
Hustler had the better ones.
I never read Hustler.
Those were the more risque ones.
There was words in Hustler. I didn't know that.
Anyway, so
I do have to say this. Somebody reminded me. The other day I mentioned the Wonders Amazon sort of sub channel that they have that they're playing.
Yes.
Season 2, House of David.
Yeah.
The people who sent us the screeners for the first season, reached out to give us screeners access for the second season.
Oh,
So
nice.
episode 1 gets reviewed tomorrow from Victor at Bleeding Fool in the afternoon. So I was reminded I should
Actually-
probably mention that since I won't remember it Friday.
Paul,
there we go.
You gave me an idea.
That-
You need to do like the whole masterpiece theater thing with the penthouse thing.
Yes. Hello.
Hello again, once again.
You have to wear an ascot.
Welcome to Penthouse.
Last
you
week,
wouldn't believe what happened to me today.
it was the housewife and the pool man. This week, let's see.
That's right. Suddenly, I
That
was
would be fun.
attacked by 3 lesbians.
It's a good thing I changed them all. No, one quick piece of dropping news: Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone are getting together to make a Miss Piggy movie.
I already
with
can't
Disney?
tell those two apart. They're working together.
And Cole Escalola is writing the script.
Hallelujah.
Someone has money to burn.
And I'm willing to bet Frank Oz has nothing to do with it.
Oh, absolutely not. He won't do anything. He won't touch anything Muppets.
But that one's a little one for you, Marvin. I thought you found that interesting if you haven't heard it yet.
Oh, I definitely do. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. A Miss Pig. What do you need a Miss Piggy movie for? We already know her story.
It's a Disney property. So
She was a singer and she met Kermit and they got together.
Because
She's
they
not
can't-
part of the Muppets.
They can't do Muppet movies with Kermit anymore because the guy that they have voicing Kermit sounds nothing like him.
well, that's
So-
the son
No.
of Henson.
No, Brian has never
Oh.
done.
Brian, yeah,
What?
Brian's never been Kermit.
Mm-mm.
It was-
Really?
No,
And
Steve Whitmore took it over.
Yeah, Jim passed it to Steve Whitmire, who did it until Disney fired him a few
Or
years ago,
Whitmire,
and then they gave it to Matt Vogel, who makes a career out of destroying classic Muppet characters. He's also a terrible Big Bird.
Yeah, Whitmire actually was the guy who did Rizzo the Rat.
Yeah,
Originally. That
and
was one of
Bean
his
Bunny.
main characters. Yep. So yeah.
And Wembley Fraggle.
Wembley was his other bigger one. Yep. But then Barry the Music Man says Patrick Stewart announced retirement after Doomsday. Not surprised. I mean,
I mean,
That's how much
they can only
movie
kill him
out
so
of
many
him.
times.
And
Sorry,
he
what
can
were you
also
saying?
only
Hard.
announce his retirement so many times. What is this, like the 3rd time?
Hey, Kiss did it a million times. Speaking of that are on the screen. There.
Speaking of Kiss, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm not surprised because the motherfucker's what, like 80 something now, 90 something now.
He'll always be my favorite Life Force villain.
But
or
I
good
wonder if
guy.
that signals that we're not getting any more Picard at all
Yeah,
I would
whatsoever.
assume so.
So that means no Star Trek. What do you call it? The thing they were hoping for with Terry Metalis.
Legacy. Well,
Legacy. Yeah.
he doesn't technically have to be in that. That's entirely depending on how they choose to do it. And
James
also
McAvoy.
and also they built in a fail-safe in the robot body that Picard occupies in that universe right now.
Yeah.
Since basically he can drop dead at any moment because the human body can drop dead at any moment. So it has like it's living on borrowed time. I remember I was like, dude, if that to me was the most stupid thing. Okay, so now you brought him back in a robot body, and you could have brought him back in his prime, but nope, you brought him back as a dying 90-year-old man who can literally drop dead at any moment. Just like the real Picard would have wanted it. I somehow doubt that.
There you go. There you go.
All right. With that, I want to never tell everybody to take care of themselves and each other, and don't forget to spay or neuter your pets. And time
also-
for
Bring out the koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given, koala, koala. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given, koala, koala. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given, koala.